each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello and welcome to Raw Recovery, a Trudging Together podcast. My name is Dion Miller. I am your host of Raw Recovery, and it has been a minute, hasn't it, my friends? I know I've been lacking on my podcasting. I apologize for that, but soon you're going to be seeing my face all over the place, and you're going to be like, gosh, I wish Dion would go away. But we're back for another episode. I'm excited. I always get excited doing podcasts. Um, Today we have Sam on the show from SIP Society. Welcome, Sam. It is great to have you.
Thank you so much for bringing me on.
Absolutely. So, the way I met Sam was I was doing the Daily Trudge, and she found me on YouTube, and I just have this intuition for picking speakers. And when God gives me a sign, and I'm kind of that way, not everybody believes in God, but when God gives me a sign, I listen to it. And my intuition said to ask. So I asked, here we are. And I bet it's going to turn into a great podcast. It really is. But we all know how it works on my show. This ain't my show. It's not mine. I'm the host. I like to throw some humility in here. So I'm going to turn the show over to Sam, and it is going to be Raw Recovery with Sam. Sam, welcome to the show. Go ahead and start wherever you would like.
Okay, well, thank you again. I love what you're doing, by the way.
Thanks.
And next week is actually my 1 year sober from alcohol, so this
Oh,
is really good
really?
timing.
See, God leads people. They really do. Congratulations.
Thank you. It felt
Congratulations.
like a sign, honestly, when you asked me. I was like, wow,
Uh,
okay.
Yay.
So it's awesome. But yeah, I guess I'll start back where I drank first.
Okay.
Grade eight, right after graduation, sitting in a
Okay.
room with some girls, and we all passed around a drink and had one sip each. Probably the only time in my life I've had one sip of alcohol without consuming more. So didn't feel anything, but like it was just a rebellious move because we were going into high school. So
Absolutely.
yeah, rite of passage, I guess.
Yeah.
And then going into high school, I got into my first relationship, and it was pretty much all through high school. We were on and off
Okay.
at the end, but we were going to a lot of house parties,
Mm,
a lot of bush parties,
okay.
um, all the crazy stuff high
What
schoolers
are
like to
what are
do.
bush parties?
Oh, a bush party! I'm from Canada, so I don't know if it's called that anywhere
Yeah.
else.
See. I don't think us Americans know what a bush party is.
Okay, so it's a party in the park. So you go to the
Oh,
park at
okay.
night, you sneak out of your house, and everyone
Done for you.
brings
That I
whatever they're consuming.
understand. There's nothing better than being drunk and peeing in the park in the middle of the summer. There's no better feeling. So,
Yeah, the first night I got drunk actually was like we were in the park and got
okay.
chased by security, and it was a moment I will always remember. But yeah, it was cool to black out back then too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
I
push it
I get it.
push it to the limits. But yeah, in my last year of high school, me and my boyfriend we were so toxic. It was on and off. I was
Okay.
insecure, full of feelings, hormones, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like talking to other guys, and I ended up seeing this one guy for just a couple of weeks. We didn't last long, but
Okay.
he came over to my house and got really drunk and puked. And my
Ooh,
parents were at home, but they were upstairs and we were
okay.
downstairs. So they ended up driving him to his mom's house so that he was safe and in good hands. She was very thankful, but she was a member of AA, so she was
Oops.
not happy. Which actually brings me to my first AA meeting was in my last year of high school because his
Okay.
punishment was to go to a speaker meeting, and I tagged along. And I
Wow. Okay.
remember, yeah, I remember being like, after I left, I was like, wow, it's just like the movies. Someone says, hi, my name's Bob, and everyone says, hi, Bob. And I was just like, that's like wild. But the speaker spoke, it impacted me. It was obviously a sad story. It's a
Sure.
speaker meeting. but didn't impact me enough to stop drinking. So after high school, I end up getting back together with my long relationship boyfriend.
Okay.
Dumb decision because did not trust him. I was insecure, and we're both going to separate universities,
Okay.
long distance, and I
But
partied a lot.
but it's that but you knew him. You were used to him.
Yes.
You know, there even though it wasn't safe, there's safety in at least knowing things are going to go to shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Because at least we know that's what's going to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I only survived one semester at university because
Okay.
I was so lost. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was partying, I missed morning classes because of
Okay.
like hangovers and anxiety. I was very, very anxious growing up, all the way up until like last year. My anxiety has always been
Sure.
high.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I ended up telling my parents I didn't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to do school right
Okay.
now. Like, I didn't know what I wanted. And my boyfriend and I broke up, and I ended up moving back with them for like a week. But my parents had moved to another town, so I wasn't in town with my high school friends anymore. So I didn't like
Okay.
that. So I end up going back to my hometown and couch hopping.
Okay.
Um, I stay at my one friend's house quite often. We're drinking a lot, and her mom comes downstairs. And I remember her asking if we're alcoholics, and we laughed so hard. I was like, there's no way. Like, we're just young. We're not drinking every day. Like, we're good. Meanwhile, I was definitely on the road to
Oh
that,
yeah.
which is why I'm here today. um, so yeah, I couch hopped, and then I kind of got the feeling that her mom didn't want me staying there anymore.
Yeah.
So my Oma ends up taking me in. Oma is grandma in Dutch.
Okay.
And she lives in that town. So she takes me in, and she was fine with it. My mom said this is a bad idea because I
Hmm.
don't like authority. I'm rebellious. I'm a partier.
And grandma is probably not as nice as the parents because she's the silent generation or a boomer, one of the two.
She was pretty passive about it all, actually.
Was she? Okay.
Yeah, I would have a drink at night, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay. You're just relaxing," and like,
That's what they call it.
whatever.
I'm relaxing.
Yeah,
You know, a drink is what do they say. Too much drink is only a good man's fault.
yeah. And I started dabbling in the devil's lettuce weed at the time.
But a while since I heard it called that.
I know. And I would go into the basement where my bedroom was at her place, and
Okay.
I would actually, how you make like a spoof with a toilet paper roll and a
Oh, of course I
uh,
do. Oh yeah.
laundry
No
detergent,
oil.
yeah, into
Yeah.
the fan, thinking I can hide it, which I did. To this day, I will never tell Oma that I was in the basement smoking weed.
Don't
Um,
pass this on to her then.
so she won't listen to this. Don't worry.
You ain't listening to this one, Nona.
um, but yeah, and I was drinking a lot, and I had this thing where I did not like going to sleep with my thoughts because I was still grieving my
Yep.
relationship.
Yep.
I was anxious. It was a mess up in here, and I did not
Okay.
want to think about anything at night. Um, and then I ended up meeting a boy at a party,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, you know what? I don't even like saying unfortunately because it
Okay.
led me to where I am today. We ended up together for 8.5 years. It was a
Oh,
very bad relationship, but
okay.
we'll get to that.
All right.
Met him at a party, and we're partying a lot. And Oma says, I tell Oma I want to get my tongue pierced, and she says, if you get your tongue pierced, I'm kicking you out. And she just didn't want the responsibility of it, even though I'm like 18 years old. Like, I'm
Sure.
an adult at this point.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I go and get my tongue pierced. So
Yep.
now I need a place to stay. And I end up going to my new boyfriend's dad's house with him and just start slowly moving my stuff over. Didn't even have a discussion with his dad. Just, we were allowed to smoke in his bedroom. We were allowed to drink. We were
Uh,
whatever. So
one of those parents where, I'd rather my kid was here doing it so I know that he's safe.
true.
I kind
Yeah,
of a parent. Okay.
that's fair. Yeah, so I'm with him there, and we are smoking a lot of weed. Like, I can't eat without having it, I can't sleep without having it.
Ah,
Um, and he decides one day he wants to quit. He found like a lump in his throat, which ended up being nothing, but we were also smoking tobacco with it.
okay.
But he had a little scare, and so he's like, I'm gonna have to quit. Like, I'm freaking out here. Will you quit with me? And of course, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, how am I going to sleep now? So I end up picking up a box of wine, and that was at 19 years old. And that is when
Yeah.
my nightly drinking for over a decade started,
Okay.
was taken off the edge from the weed. So
Okay.
yeah, now I'm at his place drinking wine every night. Um, some verbal abuse was starting to happen, more so later in the story. We'll get to that. Some other substances are happening. We're going through raves now,
Okay.
the clubs, so lots of the uppers. um, and well, here's an accomplishment. I end up going back to college and taking the
Okay.
bus to college, while living there. So we lived with his dad for like 3.5 years, I think, something like that,
Yeah.
4 years. And then once I was done college, he got, I almost dropped out of college too because of my anxiety, but ended up pushing through. So thankful for
Good
that.
for you. Yeah.
But then we end up moving out to the city because he got a job out in Toronto. So we
Okay.
move closer to the city. It's our first apartment. It's a basement apartment. Very excited about it. It's even
Absolutely.
got a little bar down there, and I get a decal that says 5 o'clock somewhere to put on
Oh,
top. And
no, no.
living the life now.
Oh, I think every alcoholic eventually says that. It's 5 o'clock
Yes.
somewhere. I
Yeah.
think it's one of our major, and it doesn't matter what generation you are either, because everybody gets off at 5 o'clock. So,
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in Brampton, in this apartment for about 4 years with him. And we're going to the raves every weekend, going out to Toronto, going to the house
okay.
parties in Toronto. Um, Verbal abuse got very worse. I was called a bitch every day. I was called fat. He
Yeah.
told me I was going nowhere with my life. He said no one else is going to love me. Just
Okay.
putting it in my brain for years to the point
Yeah.
where I was so beaten down. Um, and then also, I'm isolated because I moved out of my town. I got distant with my high
Yeah.
school friends, had a falling out. One of my best friend, we ended up getting in a big fight because I chose partying over her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was a friendship breakup that I've been through relationship breakups, and I'm a mess for a short period of time and then I'm okay.
Okay.
But with that, I was a mess for like 2 years. Like
Yeah.
I fucked up.
Well, that was, I've only had one best friend in my life, and aside from my wife, but she's like, oh, but I'm your best friend. I'm like, no, you're my wife. You have best friend status and more. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm a Virgo, so I cut people off if they're, if I'm done with it. But yeah, my best friend, oh, it took it. I still regret it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I'm very blessed. She's in my life again, and we are
Yay, good for you.
very close again. I was messaging her today about this, so like it's good.
So happy to hear that. I'm so
Thank
happy.
you.
Good
Yeah,
job.
it was hard. And
Sure it was.
then still living in that apartment with him, I get very sick all of a sudden. I'm losing weight rapidly. My hair's falling out.
Oh,
I am so thirsty. I'm peeing every 5 minutes. I have leg
yep,
cramps. And I go to the doctor telling him, I think I'm dehydrated from drinking wine. And he goes, no, you need to go to the Emerge. And so go to Emerge. Within 5 minutes, I'm in a room and on IVs and I'm diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. That was gonna be my guess. That was gonna
Yeah.
be my guess.
And I Googled the symptoms and was like, well, I'm 23 years old. You get that when you're a child. Like it's the juvenile one. But no, I was misinformed. You can get it at any age.
At any
Um,
age, yep. Well,
yeah.
people don't understand that alcohol is 80% sugar. So most alcoholics are at least pre-diabetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, type 1 is an autoimmune disease. So I had a wisdom tooth infection that triggered it. My
Okay.
body, instead of attacking the infection, attacked my pancreas, and
Oh,
probably
okay.
my immune system is obviously down from all the partying too, so that
Yeah.
probably didn't help. So yeah, it's fun. um, so yeah, get diagnosed with that, and
Okay.
then I moved home with my parents for about a week because my vision's blurry. I'm tired. I can't
Yeah.
really I need to get a grasp on things. And then I moved back to the apartment, and I remember we go to a house party in Toronto, and I tell everyone, "Well, I've got diabetes now. Like I can't do any of these substances anymore or drink with you guys." So I kept it easy for that weekend and was all proud. And then I bet you by the next week I was back at it at the
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah.
So that happens, and then fast forward to probably age of 26. Like we're just partying this whole time. That's really
Ab-
all I have to show for that
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
We get engaged, and we're engaged for a while, about a year, I guess. And then we start hanging out with one of his coworkers. And she is also into the partying, so she would come over a lot and be so excited to see me and yada yada yada. And then I come to find out that they have uh, a relationship going
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
So actually found out while I was with them, and we were all on drugs. And
Okay.
at the time, didn't care because I was so high. I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna enjoy my night." And
Yeah.
then, sure enough,
That's what.
my world crumbles in 24 hours.
Yeah. That's what drugs and alcohol do.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
That's part of the problem because when we drink, people think that what we're doing is it does raise your oxytocin and the other things that they. But the problem is this: if we're in a bad mood or something, so maybe we just got fired because of our drinking or something. So we're like, okay, boohoo, I got fired, so I'm going to go drink. What it does, it goes through the reward center. So what you're telling your brain is today was good. Me getting fired was a good thing.
Hmm.
And that's what happens with our brains, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's what was going on with you. Your brain took it as a reward. And that's why it didn't bother you at that time.
Yeah.
That's what's screwed up about alcoholism. Yeah. It's a hard one, man.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the next day I'm calling my mom crying, like telling her we got to tell the family the wedding's off. I already had a dress, a venue, everything. But
Wow. I'm
luck,
sorry.
oh, blessing in disguise. It is
Yeah.
the best thing that has ever happened to me because
Right.
I got
Okay.
out of there. So I'm very grateful for that day, even though it was hard to get through. Um,
Absolutely.
But it took me 1 week of crying, and then I felt relief. 1 week after an 8.5 year relationship. And
Hmm.
I was like, I am free from being torn down all the time and from that life. So I got out of there and I moved in to my parents' place. They were staying at another place at the time, so I had the house to myself basically.
Wow.
Um, I have this is something I'm probably going to need to work out in therapy one day, but I have an anxious attachment style and I love to be in a relationship. So I waste no
Yeah.
time and I'm on the dating apps and I'm at the bars and whatnot. And um, one 1.5 months later, I'm at a music festival and I meet my current partner.
There you
And yeah, here we are.
go.
Our relationship was very rough in the beginning, but I'm gonna say now we are so good and so solid, both like we'll get to it.
That's
But
great. I am glad to hear that. I really
thank
am.
you. But yeah, and we started off at meeting at the festival. We spent the entire weekend together. He came over to my place and we were hung over together. And then he went on his way home. Never thought I would see him again. And then he messages me as soon as he gets home and asks me when we're hanging out again. And we start hanging out every weekend and we're inseparable.
Awesome.
Like he's a party boy.
Yeah.
And maybe more of a party boy than I was a party girl, which is hard to believe. But so yeah, the drinking, the drugging, and yeah, we dated for 10 months and like partied and whatnot. And then COVID happened,
Oh,
and
Huh?
I was a little nervous about COVID in the beginning, like everyone else in the world, but
Sure.
I'm diabetic as well, and like I didn't know what that meant. Like they scared us on the news, right? So
Yeah.
um he asked me if I wanted to move in because I was living by myself. And so I moved in with him and his roommate. And it was a very bad environment to live in because of the partying. Mistakes were made in the
Sure.
relationship
Okay.
where I lost some trust in him. I'm not going to go into details to respect my
And
relationship, but
yeah, I respect that. Thank you.
yeah. And I basically told him I don't want to live this life anymore. We can't be like I don't want to be partying every weekend. Like
Yeah.
when you see it in the movies, when you see a group of youngsters going to the club and they're like, let's take a tab of this and like
Yeah.
that's the best night of our life. They're not showing you the aftermath of like that.
Yeah, they make it look glamorous. Even a lot of people that do videos and stuff now, even some of the recovery coaches and stuff, they're not showing what real life
Mhm.
is, the aftermath, the dirty stuff. Because recovery is not clean and everything's all great. No, it's down and dirty.
It
It
is.
is. We got to play in the mud and get a little dirty out there.
Yeah.
So
I
what
was
made you decide to what was there something that happened, or was it just a culmination of bullshit that you're like, I just can't do this anymore?
I couldn't handle the come downs anymore on the
Okay.
weekends. Weekend benders, staying up all weekend,
Oh,
going to work and functioning. I couldn't handle it anymore. And I told him we need out. And he came with me and he did a
wow.
complete 180 with his life. We moved into my parents' place together. They still
Okay.
weren't there though, so it kind of worked out for us.
Okay.
We we still dabbled in stuff because it was really hard for us to quit that. I'm still drinking every night. Keep in mind though, like that when I'm saying the weekend stuff I wanted to get out of, I'm
Yeah,
still drinking.
you were a weekend warrior, and it was that stuff that you were cutting out, the going to
Yeah,
the club and the raves and the ecstasy and the uppers and the
yes,
all
yeah,
that other stuff. Yeah.
yeah. And so we saved up to buy a house and
Wow.
we moved here and where I am now. And I think we did cocaine once in this house at the beginning. We are 3.5 years clean now from it. No
Woo!
going back. Yeah,
I
thank
remember
you.
because we talked a little bit because you asked me about, is it okay to talk about drug use? I'm like, absolutely. I kind of stayed away. When I was real young, I had to go to Alateen. My mom was in AA, and that's where I learned that what drugs do. I was in treatment by 15, things like that. So I really understood what alcohol and drugs did to you.
Hmm.
When I was in my 30s, I had a group of friends, and we started doing cocaine.
Hmm.
And at the beginning it was like once a month. Then it was
Yeah,
twice a month. Then it was every weekend. And then they showed up on a Wednesday night, and I'm like, we're done. We're done.
yeah,
I don't ever want to see you again. If you come over with cocaine, I don't want. And I never saw them. I have no idea what happened to them to this day. But
yeah,
yeah, cocaine, man. I liked it because I could drink more. But what sucked is, it's 8 o'clock at night. You do a line of cocaine. You turn around and talk to your friend, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
yeah. The
That's
birds
so
are chirping, sun's coming up,
I could,
heart's racing, shaking. Yeah,
yep.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I needed to get away from. I couldn't
Mhm.
handle it anymore. And when we moved to this house, I wanted to change my relationship with alcohol too. I said I was going to
Okay,
quit the nightly drinking. It's a new environment, like I'm going to do this, and it
good
didn't work
idea.
out that way.
That's
um,
okay though.
yeah, my alcoholism is definitely my main part of my story because
Sure.
that was my main addiction. And yeah, I wanted to quit so badly though. And I'm very functional. Like I'm going to work every
Okay.
day, working out, I'm doing all my responsible things I should be doing, but then nighttime comes, I'm drinking myself to sleep.
Yeah.
And middle of the night, I wake up in the middle of the night, oh, I can't sleep, gonna go chug a couple coolers in the fridge to fall back asleep. Like
Yeah.
that's not a normal drinker.
No,
So
not.
I'm desperate. I'm anxious. My nervous system is so crazy. Like I
Yeah,
couldn't go to Walmart without a panic attack. I couldn't get in
yeah,
the car because I'm nervous.
yeah.
Um, and so I'm just so desperate. And in my last 2 years of drinking, I never felt this way during my substance abuse and or drugging in my
Yeah.
20s. But in my last 2 years of drinking, like I didn't want to be alive anymore. Like
Yep.
I just didn't. I hated life when I shouldn't have because I never thought I would buy a house and I bought a house. I have two
Yeah.
beautiful dogs. I've got a partner who is so supportive and
Yeah.
so there for me. Um, and so I needed help. And so I ended up listening for years. I listened to lots of sobriety podcasts,
Okay.
lots of sober TikTokers and the social media and
Sure.
finally like sobriety was starting to become cool out there and I'm like okay like I'm going to go to the doctor and ask for help, so I went to the doctor
Nice.
and yeah, she ended up giving me a prescription for medication for cravings.
Yeah.
I was on it for 34 days until my brain
No, no,
naltrexone.
naltrexone. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it works for me. Some people
It
it doesn't,
it does work.
but
I'm actually an advocate of it. Anything
okay.
that we can do to help somebody get rid of the cravings and the obsession, I'm willing to do. That includes putting a roof over their head.
Yeah,
I'm not, if we can increase those odds, we need the professionals, we need the doctors, we need the therapists, we need them. So great job. I think that's great.
yeah, I agree. Um, and so, yeah, 34 days, and then my brain starts tricking me. Maybe you can moderate. Christmas is coming. Like, how are you not going to drink with the family? And I had a family member whom I did not have a relationship with him, but he ended
Okay.
up ODing and they were going to pull the
Oh,
plug on him. They didn't. He survived, but it
okay.
triggered me. And I end up drinking, and I'm like, well, maybe I can have one a week. And that quickly, within 2 weeks, I was back to every night again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so then I'm listening to the podcasts again. I'm doing all this stuff, drinking every night, though, disappointing myself every single day. And then 10 months later, last summer, July 31st, I started the pills again, and I have not had a sip of alcohol since.
Yay. And now you have almost a year. We're fronting you a week here, but I have a feeling you're probably going to make it.
Me
And
too.
it's a week before your year, so I'm gonna give you a heads up. Your brain's going to do stupid, it's going to think crazy stuff this next
Yeah,
week because we start to think backwards.
yeah,
We go back and sometimes our brain will start to romanticize it and things like that. So don't listen to your brain for the next week.
I get that. There's been a couple milestones where I'm like, this is a trick.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, because it doesn't feel real. So it
mhm,
took me a couple of years before sobriety felt real. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I did do a few AA meetings.
Okay.
Um, I met a girl whom I love. She was my sponsor for a short time while I was in the program. Still
Okay.
talk to her. I still call her like my mentor and my friend. She lives down the street from me, and yeah, something wasn't resonating for me with the book. We'll get to that because I'm still open-minded to it, but I found this group on Facebook called Sobriety Sisters, and they do morning meetings every morning
Okay.
on Zoom. They accept any forms of recovery, so you can be in AA, you can be in whatever program, but I started doing meetings with them. I did it for 6 months every single day, never shared because I was so nervous. So I
I,
just sat in
I
the
get that.
corner.
Now you're
um,
running a YouTube channel.
I know, right? Things change. And I kept listening to the podcast, kept like looking up sobriety and whatnot. And then I found, well, I didn't just find, I had been listening to the Happiest Sober podcast for years.
Okay.
And the girl that runs it is for locally to me from Toronto. And
Okay.
she has the Happiest Sober Hub. And I was looking into it and like I was hesitant because I'm like, well, I don't share in my current meetings. So what's going to say like I'm going to share in hers? And like hers is a paid group, but nothing compared to what I was spending on alcohol. So that's how I'm justifying it. She's got meetings, she's got a book club, like she's very interactive with us, a Facebook group. And I ended up joining the group in February, I believe. And I've been sharing in meetings. I have so many friends in the group. Like I'm meeting up with some of them in August in person. I absolutely adore them. Her mom runs some of the meetings, and I love her mom so much. She has done so much for me. Um, so yeah, that's the meeting route I took. But
Yeah.
as of lately, I've been craving some in-person connections. So
Okay.
I have been talking to my old sponsor a little bit about maybe dabbling in some women's AA meetings again. We're gonna
Okay.
go slow. See, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, because I have the 12 steps and traditions behind me. It was actually something that you had said. You're like, because I asked you to be on, you're like, but I'm not in AA. And I'm like, so what?
I
You
love
know,
that. Yeah.
I prefer AA, but it's not for everybody,
Hmm.
and that's okay too. There's a lot of roads to recovery,
Yeah.
but they all come with certain things: education, accountability, hope, sharing. And the most I found the most successful ones are the peer-to-peer ones, like the ones you're doing. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Like it has changed my sobriety journey for sure for the better.
yeah.
Um,
The opposite of addiction is fellowship.
yeah.
It's community. And and you brought up a few, and sobriety. Yeah, about 2 years ago, it became a fad again. It happens like every 10 years,
Okay.
where it kind of becomes a fad. But we try and be all inclusive, whether the person is sober curious, or or has jaundice because they need a liver transplant. See, in our book, we're going to help these people no matter what. Um, Alcohol is just not any good for you. There's a reason it says triple X on it. It's because it's poison.
Yeah.
That's the sign for poison. So
Aren't they putting warning labels on in the USA? Are you from the USA?
I'm in Denver, Colorado. Yeah.
Okay. I heard that.
I have no idea if they are or not. I don't keep up on
Okay.
that. Interesting question though, but yeah, alcohol is very much promoted as a, fashionable thing.
Hmm.
When actually it is the worst drug out there. Alcohol
Hmm.
kills more people than anything else in the world,
Yeah.
between the different diseases and stuff. So, what made you decide to start? So, she has a YouTube channel here, and we'll give that a plug. Let's do that. So, you started Sip Society, the Sober Diaries. What made you decide to do that?
Well, I've told you off air that I am a YouTuber already. Totally different topic. We talk about horror movies. But
I'll join that.
yeah,
I
are you a
listen to
horror
horror
fan?
stories when I go to bed. Are you kidding?
So does my husband.
I find them relaxing. I had to quit doing it because my wife doesn't like it. But I love listening to horror stories when I go to bed. I find it comforting. I don't
So
know
does
why.
he. That's so funny. I love
Well,
that.
then you have an awesome husband or partner.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I've just been I was doing the Instagram and TikTok because that is how I was keeping myself accountable, getting in the community online. I
Okay.
wanted that community. And, the further and further I was getting into my year, the more and more messages I was getting from girls being like, hey, how are you doing this? Like, hey, like, I want to talk to you about sobriety. I had a girl that I grew up with. We were acquaintances, and she messages me one night in the middle of the night asking for help. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, like people are like coming to me for help. And it was fulfilling me so, so much. And I'm like, I can actually like help someone else get to where I'm at and be happy.
Yeah.
Like pull them out of a
I'm
hole. That's
useful. Yeah.
sweet.
Isn't that, I say this a lot. Helping other people gives me a high I can't
Yeah.
describe. And I'm addicted to it. I'll admit
Hmm.
it. I'm addicted to that high, but but it's not a bad high.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't destroy my home. It doesn't run my children off. I don't go to jail because of it. In
Yeah.
fact, it's quite the opposite. Now my life is full of light and love almost all the time.
I love that.
It's
But
great
yeah,
stuff.
I don't know. The fact that I was able to help them, the fact that if it weren't for the sober TikTokers and the sober podcasters, I don't know if I would be sober right now because they are the ones that I hate the word influenced, but they influenced me that this was possible. So if I
Yeah,
can do it for someone else, and if no one looks at my channel, if one person looks at my channel and the video helps them, like, sweet, I'm happy, I'm
that's
satisfied.
and see that now I know my intuition is correct because I'm the same way. I've been going live for 7.5 years now, every day. I think I've
Yeah.
missed a week. Right now I'm at 99 weeks going live every day for 99 weeks. Trying to hit 100 so I can brag about it a little bit, but joke, joke. But even if you go to my lives and you've been at them, there's 3, 4 people there. There is not a bunch of people, and I've watched a lot of people come and go in this industry in the last 7 years, a lot.
Mhm.
And but I'm still here. But the point isn't about having huge numbers. It's
Mhm.
about having something quality that's going to help someone else. If this podcast right here helps one person, it was worth it. It was
Yeah.
worth it because they are worth any amount of time I'm willing to put into them. Because I didn't feel that way when I got here. You didn't either. I wanted me dead when I got sober. The last person I loved in this world was me.
Mhm.
So how am I going to get sober if I don't even care about me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a hard one. So I let the recovery community love me until I could learn how to love myself. And then I was able to do the 12 steps and get more into recovery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so what are your plans for the future?
Plans
Or do
for
you
the
want to
future.
do more YouTube stuff? What are some things that Sam would like to do that would help out our sober community and give back?
Um, yeah, just probably continue the YouTube stuff. I actually have my first guest booked for next week. So
Good job. That's hard.
I just want to, he's a friend from the horror community, actually. I have a bunch of
All
friends
right.
in the horror community that are sober. So I'm like, hey, do you want to talk about this? Like, we talk about horror movies all the time. We can talk about this instead. Like, this is something that's impactful, right? So
Yeah. You can even
th-
combine the two if you want to. Why
yeah,
not?
we
That
could.
makes it
We could.
interesting. You know, I tell my story in the voice of Vincent Price. The
But yeah,
thriller.
just do more of that, I guess, and just be more involved in the community. I want to make more sober connections in person. I'm like craving that. So I'm I just want to be happy. That's my main goal, is to be happy, because I was not a year ago and I never want to feel like that again in my life. So that is what I'm holding on to, and yeah, just to be happy.
Good for
It's
you.
simple.
Good for you. Um, before we wrap up here, um, out of everything that you learned, what piece of advice would you give to somebody that is newly sober? That is like, maybe I'm an alcoholic and I want to try this. What advice, what kind of resources would you think would be good for them?
I would definitely say don't be afraid to ask for help, whether that's a doctor, a
Hallelujah.
therapist.
Yeah.
Like they've heard it all. Don't be afraid to go to a doctor about that, because they've seen worse. Like it's not about your pride. Like, just, if you need help, the resources are there and they can guide you.
Hmm.
Um, and I would say, like, get into the community as well. Find some other sober people in your life that you can hang around, because even if it's online or in a Zoom meeting or in a meeting in town in AA, like, who you surround yourself with is who you're going to be.
There
So,
you go. If you hang out with 3 winners, you're the fourth winner.
yeah, I love that.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
are. All right. Well, thank you, Sam, for taking your time. It
Thank you.
is much appreciated. I had a lot of fun listening to your story. It's very interesting has hope in it, you know. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much for taking your time.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This is my first time sharing my whole story, so I've done it.
Yeah,
I've
did
done my
great
first.
job.
Thanks.
Progress. Yay! All right, for the Jerry Springer moment, this is my Jerry Springer moment where I try and bring everything together. Um, so my for my folks out there is, as you heard, alcoholism and addiction can happen in a variety of ways, and our stories seem to be similar, whether you live in Canada, the United States, like we were saying earlier, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And these are all the things that we have in common. It does not matter if you have a lot of money in the bank. It does not matter if you are living on Skid Row. These people are the same alcoholics. We have a landing spot that we can all find. And that landing spot is that we're full of fear, that we are not used to other people. And gosh, we alcoholics and addicts are gifted in the fact that we get to take our tumultuous past and turn it into hope to save other people's lives. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for listening. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.